Okay. Thank you for being here tonight. Seriously, thank you so much. And thank you to the partners and sponsors that supported the NSMBA this year. We could not operate without the generous financial support of these brands. So pay it forward, support the businesses that are supporting the trails, please. Thank you also to anyone who picked up a shovel or put down some cash or volunteered some time this year. It takes a village, honestly, and we couldn't do it without you. So thank you. Yeah. Yes, give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you. Do I do this? There you go. Okay, great. Hi, everyone. I'm Cynthia Young. I'm the executive director of the NSMBA since June of 2025. But I've been around for a lot longer. Can we go back to the other slide? I'm not ready for that one yet. Thanks. I got involved with the NSMBA over a decade ago when a foundation that I was working for had some funding to rebuild Circuit 8. And since then, I've been a board member. I've been an employee for a few years, and I've been a volunteer builder on the Lower Frome trails. And I'm really happy to be back officially working for the NSMBA. I'm really excited about this opportunity to support my community in this way and to be part of the team working towards Trails for All and Trails Forever on the North Shore. So we're going to start off our AGM by talking about the land we're on. And as trail builders, trail enjoyers, and stewards of the forest, knowing about the land is of utmost importance. This land that we live, work, and ride on is the traditional territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. They are the traditional stewards of the land that was taken from them through the colonization of what we now know as Canada. The NSMBA works with a vision of Trails for All, Trails Forever, with the goal of stewarding the lands in a good way, giving back to the community and making sure there is a trail experience for everyone. As a trail organization working directly on the traditional territory of the Squamish and Tsleil-Waututh nations, we strive to understand the history of the land before colonization, and we work to include First Nations groups in our thinking about Trails for All. The NSMBA is currently accepting applications from Squamish artists for an art installation project on the new Cypress Climb Trail as a way to include First Nations history and art on the trails. As an organization, we recognize that we have many more steps to take in restitution and reconciliation efforts to honor the traditional keepers of this land. I am incredibly grateful for the trail network we share. And my view on stewardship is that we all have a responsibility to care for the trails that provide the experiences and the community that we all enjoy. So I want you to think of the last time you had a positive experience on the North Shore trails. What happened? How did that experience impact your day or your week? I'll give you an example. I was out yesterday doing laps of Lower Expresso with a friend who is new to living in North Van. And it was their first time riding that zone. The joy of that experience was shared by everyone who was riding with us, and it felt fantastic to be a part of that. So we're gonna all take a minute to think of an example, something for you to share, find a person next to you, and share the last positive experience you had on the trails. Go. Switch it off my clicker. That's right. Okay, enough. Okay, thanks. Thanks for indulging me in that little exercise. Now on to the official things. The AGM is an opportunity for the NSMBA to connect with the community, review what we accomplished in 2025, and fill you in on some of our plans for 2026, and answer any questions that you might have. We're also required to present our financials and elect new board members. So the first part of our agenda will be done shortly by our board president, Steve, and then we'll proceed with the election process. I'm supposed to be here, followed by a brief presentation of our 2025 greatest hits, plans for 2026, and then we'll present the election results and open the floor for questions. Please save any questions or comments you have until the end, after we've done the AGM business. And now I'm going to pass it over to Steve.
While I'm doing this, I'll tell you guys about my good experience on the shore. I was actually out with Cynthia and Gareth earlier this summer on a hot, sunny summer day. We were supposed to be filming some social media content. Turned out not great, so you never saw it. But we had a good day. We went out, we rode a little bit. We walked our bikes down Salvation. That's looking really good. And then we got to ride some fun berms. The trail crew just finished. And they were out there working on them. So I actually really enjoyed that day. Thanks, guys. Okay, so the official business, I'm going to be calling this meeting to order at 7:09 p.m. Can I get a motion to approve that? Many people. I need a second. Do we need the names? All right. So we, in our meetings, we follow Robert's Rules of Order. If those of you who don't know it, we generally make a motion and it's adopted. We need a first and then a second. We adopt it and then we proceed. So we also need a motion to approve the minutes of the last AGM. Oh man, yes, I love it. Keener's in the back who read the minutes. So first and a second on that. I saw Matt Bond as a first. Second. Perfect. Perfect. Amazing. I can't see all my notes. The first motion was to approve the agenda, and the second was to approve the minutes. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. We had an interesting year. So I want to acknowledge that the trail decommissioning and controversy and subsequent comments that were made in the media had a really negative impact on all of us in January. And we know that some people have put it in the review mirror, and we also understand and appreciate that some of you are still looking for clarity and closure regarding the situation. So following the formal AGM business tonight, we will be providing a forum for open dialogue, questions, and statements. As always, the time following the AGM business is open to questions regarding all aspects of the NSMBA. It doesn't have to be just about this, so ask anything that's on your mind. And that will be at the end. And please just be reminded that follow community guidelines. Everybody here deserves to be treated with respect. So that will be at the end of the meeting. We'll have a panel. And then I want to take some time to thank the team that I work closely with, our board of directors. So Ali Shaparsky is our vice president, and this is her last year on the board. She is not up for renewal. She's here tonight. I wanted to thank her for all the work that she's done, in particular her marketing expertise. She brings a great and logical lens to our boardroom. Also want to thank Raj. He's up for re-election tonight. He does an excellent job of managing our finances and accounting needs and has helped improve the financial oversight of the NSMBA. Ben, sitting at the table here, has been with a director on the organization, I think the longest of anybody else on the board, 6 years. At the end of his term, he is not up for re-election as well, so this will be the end for him. Ben has put a ton of time into the organization. He's been a huge help. He's a guy that just gets things done. He's run a bunch of programs for us, done some tech support. We can always be counted on that if you ask Ben to do something, he will get it done for you. So thanks very much, Ben. Hey, where's O'Leary? Put your hand up, way in the back. O'Leary brings a careful and thoughtful human perspective to all of our board discussions and decisions. So thank you, O'Leary, for all of your work. And Mike, put your hand up. Also at the back. The theme here, you guys want to hide. Mike has been awesome on our trails committee and working on our trail strategy. He's been doing a lot of work on that, pushing that forward, documenting a lot of that. So Cynthia's going to talk more about what the trail strategy is if you don't know much about it, but it is basically the pillar by which we're moving forward with trying to get new trails and what we are going to be using as a planning document for our negotiations with land managers. Angeli, is it your first year on the board? It feels like you've been working with you a long time because you've been very active and busy, and you have a keen interest in the governance of the organization, including your marketing and PR skills and background. So that has been a very nice addition. Thank you very much. Nara Henderson, hand up, Nara, at the back. Super strong leader. You always have a really great perspective to bring to our board meetings. Calm and collected. Very much appreciate your presence. Rashid, you're at the front. You know a ton of people in this room. You're well connected in the mountain biking community. Also, just a guy that knows how to bring in money. So thanks very much for for that. Rob Donovan, also at the front here, up for re-election, runs our trails committee, and he's also a volunteer trail builder. How long have you been around, Rob? You were on the board before I arrived. How many? On the board for 4 years. 4 years. So you might be the longest serving member after Ben, potentially. Yeah. Thanks. So we need to make another motion to appoint an electoral officer for tonight. So this person's job is going to be responsible for counting all the votes. I'm going to suggest Ben here because nobody else can do it. So can I have somebody to start that motion? Raj and Rashid, first and seconded. Thanks very much. All right. So a little bit about me. You guys don't all know me, but I'm Steve, as you know. This is my 3rd year on the board, and I was elected president earlier this year in January. I'm involved in the NSMBA primarily because I think mountain biking and the trails on the shore are a valuable community builder and a refuge from the stresses of everyday life. For me personally, it's the place where I get in the woods with my wife, my dog, and I just forget about all the other shit that's going on in my day, and I can just focus on the trail in front of me. I can't think of anything else while I'm riding a skinny or lining up the next drop. It's really therapy on wheels. As president of the board, I've inherited an organization that's already done the hard work of getting trails sanctioned, building positive relationships with land managers, and creating an amazing team of builders and volunteers who move the dirt and keep the trails running smoothly. So thanks to you, especially the former directors, staff, and volunteers that came before me, you left a solid foundation onto which our current board can build. And I want to give a little talk about what the board does, right? What are we doing when we meet once a month? So we interact with the rest of the board. Our board is currently transitioning from a working board to a governing board. So I'd estimate we're somewhere about 75% along the way of that transition. Practically, that means that the board is focused on oversight, policy, accountability, and strategy. Think approving budgets, setting vision and strategy, and evaluating the performance of the executive director. We're not deciding what trails deserve the most attention for a reroute or maintenance. Instead, when it comes to a trail discussion, we're focused on things like ensuring we have an overall trail strategy that addresses the needs of our membership across all three mountains. In addition, board members have fiduciary responsibilities. That essentially means we have an ethical and legal obligations that are documented in the BC Societies Act. For example, we must put the organization's interests above our own. We're accountable to the organization's financial health, and we must create and enforce organization policies like codes of conduct, and we must ensure our staff operate lawfully and ethically. In short, the board is the ones who are on the hook if something goes wrong. So it's our job to make sure it goes right. The executive director and the staff are responsible for the day-to-day operations of the organization. That includes making sure the trails are in excellent condition by planning trail maintenance, reroutes, and managing any new trail work on new trails like the Cypress East Climb Trail that opened earlier this year. They collaborate with the land managers on trail projects and they pursue new trail opportunities. They're running our events like the Fivers and the From Fondo. And they're also accountable for revenue from our TAP program, membership sales, contracts, and grants. Why does this matter? I think it boils down to people. You need the right people with the right skills doing the job so that it gets done well. As a member, you want to be confident that your membership dollars are being managed wisely. You want to know that your taxes are filed on time. You want to know that the NSMBA is a great place to work for our staff. You want to know that when a thorny HR issue comes up, there are experienced people in place to manage it well. Most importantly, you want to make sure that the organization continues to grow and improve so that the next group that comes behind us has an even better foundation to work from. If you think about your own jobs, I'm sure you know that it's like to have a shitty boss or a colleague you can't count on. It can make your job difficult and unpleasant. Or worse, if it gets bad enough, you might even quit. The opposite is true too. Having skilled and experienced people in the organization helps attract and retain other skilled directors, staff, and volunteers who want to give their time to the NSMBA long into the future. So before I to kick things off when we do the voting, I want to talk a bit about the process because the process for election this year is different than what we've seen in the past. It's likely that most of you don't know all of the candidates that are up for election this year. We actually have a large group. You may not know any of them even, right? The idea behind this process is to have the board do some legwork on your behalf by reviewing the candidates and identifying those that meet the skills and experience the board is seeking. We think this will help you make an informed decision with your vote. First, we identified the skills the board needs and matched those against our current directors. This left us with a list of skills that we wanted to fill with our new directors. We created a vetting committee to review all of our applicants and match them against the skills requirements, and none of the directors up for re-election were on this committee. Just like applying for a job, the committee reviewed applicants and interviewed the top candidates. We then identified the candidates who we felt best met the criteria of the skills the board is seeking. There'll be an indicator on the candidate slide showing they meet criteria. It looks like this, so right there. All candidates were then notified if they were recommended for the role or not, and every candidate is eligible for election regardless of their recommendation status. We did not rank the candidates, we just included who we think has the skills to be a great director. You can vote for anyone you feel can best do the job. And as a reminder, here are the skills we identified a need for this year. The candidates that we identified as meets criteria are qualified with skills and experience or one or more of these areas. And everybody here has a keen interest and understanding of board opportunities and issues facing the NSMBA. I'm not going to read these out. I think you can read them. Oh, you can't. Okay, I'll read them. All right, so strategic leadership and governance is the first one. HR and people management, accounting and financial. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to have a CPA or CA, but that's nice. PR marketing, legal and risk management, government relations and advocacy, and the one that I think any good candidate needs to have is awareness and opportunities of the issues facing the NSMBA. Questions at the end, unless it's very, very relevant. You do. Good question. So in order to vote, you have to log into your NSMBA member portal. And in order to do that, you need to be a member in good standing. Okay, so before I introduce the candidates, each candidate's going to get 2 minutes to speak. And one candidate couldn't be here today, so we'll be playing a video for him. For those candidates doing the speaking, we will have somebody at the back of the room that's going to give you a signal, kind of a warning, and we're going to do a hard cutoff at 2 minutes because there's a lot of you, so we're going to shut it down. And when you get to vote, you can select up to 5 candidates. There are 5 open positions. You can vote for anybody, including the incumbents and the recommended. You do this by logging into the NSMBA portal, as I said, and you log in with your details. And if you need Wi-Fi access, you can get it here. Give you guys a sec. Okay, everybody got it? See one person with their phone up, we'll wait. 30 more seconds. Okay. Okay, while we're waiting for the last few folks to get access here, the voting will be open for about 20 minutes. So it will close and we'll be doing tallying the results while Cynthia is chatting about giving you guys a review of what happened through the year and what we're going to be looking forward to next year. So make sure you vote quickly. All right. Let's have our first candidate come up. These are in no particular, we did group them, but otherwise it's alphabetical order. Yeah, so.
Right. Hello, my name is Rashid. And this guy who had a full head of hair. Yeah, I would appreciate your support and your vote tonight. I've been around the NSMBA since 2009 when I was first elected to the board. And I spent a 7-year run to 2017. And then 2 years ago, I rejoined the board. What I have to offer is a deep knowledge and love and passion for the North Shore and for this association. Having been involved for so many years, I know a lot of the history behind it. It also has given me the opportunity to meet a lot of the people in this room. And I see I only have 20 seconds left. And so wrapping it up, I look forward to continuing to delve deeper into the programs that we started over the last few years. If you've ridden the Shore recently, you know how good the trails are, you know how good the programming has been. And I want an opportunity to continue on the work that we've started and to see things through. So, am I being cut off? No. Okay. Yeah, so back to that. We were able to achieve a lot of great work over the last year. And when you distill it, I believe that the board's mission is to allow the trail builders and to allow the volunteers to have an opportunity to be in the forest and create. We're a trails organization. We go far beyond mountain biking. And so being able to facilitate that is really the board's role at its core, and I want to keep providing that service. I want to keep being able to engage with the land managers. I want to be able to keep engaging with the trail builders, with the volunteers, and with the remainder of the community in order to make the North Shore the best trail network in the world, and for it to continue to be the high watermark for what mountain biking can be and what a community building together can look like. Oh, there we go.
Hi, folks. My name is Raj. I have had the pleasure of being on the board for the past couple of years, more specifically in the role of treasurer. Just a little bit about myself. I am CPA. I've got about 14 years of industry experience, both in the...
For the online people.
Hey,
Be
folks.
close to this one.
Hi, folks. About 14 years of experience in both the government and the not-for-profit sector. And actually, before the NSMBA, I was on the board for a couple other charities, both in similar capacities as a treasurer, finance director. And the reason I bring that up is because the treasurer is kind of we've got kind of a greasy role on the board. We do a lot of work in the backgrounds and in the shadows. And at the end of the day, the job is to make sure that cash is managed effectively, that the builders are getting paid, that the staff is getting paid, and that there's money in the bank for the strategic priorities that the board has identified along with the community for what we want to do in the future. So it's been a pretty fun 2 years. I've done a lot of work with the finance committee, with the other folks on the board to try to increase the transparency of the financial information that the NSMBA puts out, both to the community and to the board itself. So we'll deliver monthly financial reports to the board, more detailed quarterly reports to the board. And I've always had an open door policy, dig days. I've always talked to folks, said, email me whenever you have questions. I get a few questions and I've had some good discussions, and I like to continue those discussions moving forward. So it's been a good couple of years and I'd like to do it for a couple more. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. You might recognize me from a trail day or a mountain bike race, or maybe the guy giving out shots of fireball at a cyclocross race. Like you may have heard, I've been on the board for 4 years. I am a project manager that specializes in building commissioning. I'll talk about that later if you want. I'm not going to go into the details of that. I started out like most people here, showing up to random community trail days, got interested in it. Did the Shore Corps thing, became a trail builder, and decided to join the board of directors. My main focus is the trails. Like the 1987 Kevin Costner classic, Build the Dreams. If you build it, they will come. I think if we build the good bike trails, which is pretty hard to do with the land managers these days, maybe we'll get members. So that's sort of my thought process. It's been a hard year for me on the board of directors. This last year has been a fairly detailed, tough year for everyone. And if I can stand up here and say I want to do 2 more years, I think that speaks volumes for itself. That's it.
Hi everyone. Yeah, I'm Ali. I'm really looking forward and fortunate to have this opportunity. I want the opportunity to give back. Mountain biking means so much to me. I moved to Vancouver 12 years ago. I'd say all my closest friends are people I've met mountain biking, and now, I have a 9-year-old. I regularly ride with him, and I was thinking if he was here tonight, he'd be voting for no more uphill trails to be sanctioned. That's his only priority. If I think of what the skills and experience I think I can bring to NSMBA, I've just termed out of 6 years on the Vancouver Farmers Market Board, which, to be honest, I think is a very similar organization. It has a hugely passionate membership community. It matters so much to people, just like NSMBA does to us. But being a board member there allowed me. We went from financial difficulties to having a significant reserve. We managed successfully an ED transition. We reset our strategic plan. So and I just really enjoyed that opportunity to give back. And also quickly in my day job, I'm a vice president controller at Lululemon. I've been a chartered accountant for close to 20 years. And yeah, as a board member, I think my priorities would be just the ability to support all the people that give so much time to the organization, the volunteers, the staff. It's just, be the fortunate to be a steward to look after what matters so much to us and people who are prepared to give so much of their time to. Yeah. And finally, I think we're very lucky. There's an amazing cast of candidates here tonight. So yeah, excited for this stage of the journey of the organization.
Thanks for the opportunity to speak tonight, and thank you all for being members. A little bit about my background. I've been riding these trails for 30 years. I have charitable board experience, including chairing a provincial membership-based environmental organization. This organization transitioned from a working board to a governance board. So I'm familiar with this transition, and NSMBA, as you've heard, is going through this right now. I've worked for the finance industry for 35 years. I've grown several successful investment teams as a leader and providing broader experience provincially and nationally. We built a framework where individuals and charities were comfortable entrusting us with their funds. And we used a quote, nobody cares how much you know until you know how much they care. NSMBA, I've been a donor and TAP sponsor for nearly 10 years. Currently, I sponsor Natural High. This has given me an opportunity to understand and work with the NSMBA. I helped NSMBA set up the infrastructure to facilitate stock donations and become an approved charity for 1% for the Planet. I have shared a number of fundraising ideas with the board and past EDs, and I would like to continue this work. What sustainability means for me, it's Trails Forever, which requires financial strength, right? This is in fact one of the three objectives the board has identified this year. I want NSMBA to be around for my daughters, right, Kate? Yeah. Fundraising in particular is crucial for survival and growth, and this is an area where I can best complement the skills of the board and fellow candidates. The board has a fundraising committee, and I would love to be a part of it. Thank you.
I'll hang on to it. Daniel's not here, so we're going to do a video there.
We've lost Daniel. He's been over there. Here he is.
Virtually this first time. Hi, my name is Dan. I'm applying for a board position with the North Shore Mountain Bike Association this year. I'm sorry that I can't join anybody in person today, but I am on the island with my family this week, so I'll have to meet all of you virtually this first time. A bit about me. I live on the North Shore. In my day job, I work as a geologist in the natural resources industry in northern Canada and the interior. I've been mountain biking on the shore since the early 90s, and I got involved with the NSMBA in early 2010, 2011 as a trail builder for the trail adoption plan. And in that time, I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of amazing people in our mountain bike community, including a lot of trail builders and organizers and just mountain people in general. And it's been a great journey, and I really appreciate the opportunity to see this organization grow from a very passionate group of mountain bikers to a group of people that have been able to demonstrate their ability to manage a very complex yet amazing trail network through maintenance and engagement with land managers and community members. And I feel like we're at one of those turning points again in our organization, as well as within our riding community in North Shore, where we may have the opportunity to transition from a group that is capable of managing and taking care of a complex trail of networks to planning the next stages of it. And I hope that my skills and my background in the natural resource industry, as well as a trail builder in North Shore, will be able to help me contribute to that vision with the rest of the wonderful board members and other members of this riding community.
Hi, my name's Jeff with a J. I am bringing to the board, or would bring to the board, skills from my profession and a perspective on riding that's maybe different than mainstream. In my career, I'm a lawyer. I've been a lawyer for 20 years. Focused on corporate governance issues and commercial disputes. What that does is, what you're doing in those is reconciling different points of view inside an organization, both not-for-profit and for-profit, and trying to find a way to make them work together and trying to make sure that they follow their rules and follow the statutes and don't get into that kind of trouble. As a friend of mine at the office says, we get paid for our paranoia. And so that will assist with the risk management. At this point in my career, 20-something years in, it's really about understanding issues and developing strategic plans, and then the tactics by which those strategic plans will be executed rather than doing them myself. As a rider, I live in the West Van side of the North Shore, and Cypress is in my backyard. And so that's where I ride most of the time because I don't have to drive to get there. My kids are both downhill racers, so I am shuttling them up and down Cypress in my big blue pickup truck with the red rack, probably more than I get to ride myself today. But I think Cypress and downhill is something that's in the future for the organization and the future for the trail network. And so having that perspective of somebody who's there and living it every week will matter. I'd like to see the organization succeed long into the future, and that's it.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jeff. I'm also a lawyer. So thank you for being here today, both people online and in the room, and for giving me this opportunity to kind of give back to the community that's given me so much. And it really blends together my personal experience and my professional experience. So I'm a corporate lawyer by trade, and I spend most of my time working with management teams and boards and helping them manage critical situations, do a lot of work with corporate governance. I also have some board experience as well. I served as a director of the Climbing Escalade Canada board for nearly 5 years. That's the national sporting organization for climbing in Canada. And I helped that organization go through a lot of transitions. We moved from an operational board to a governance-based board. And we also saw that sport kind of progress from, a grassroots organization into an Olympic sport. So have a lot of experience kind of working with boards going through transition. And I'm really just looking forward to giving back to a community and a space that's given me so much and using my professional skills to do that. So thank you very much.
I'm not a lawyer. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. We should definitely vote for one or more of the lawyers. So my background is in, I'll start at the beginning. I grew up in North Van. I graduated from Carson. I've been riding on Frome since I was 14 on a Kona Explosive, which was awesome at the time. And professionally, I'm an engineer. I was in engineering. Now I've been running technology business for the past several years, and I've got some time on my hands and looking to give back to the community. So my family's involved in ski racing. I was involved in the board of Grass Mountain Tyee and was president for a little while there. So that's my nonprofit experience. And our second favorite thing to do is mountain bike. So put my hat in the ring here to help move this great organization along. It's done amazing things since the 90s when trails were at risk. So I've been there to see it all along, and would love to contribute some of my time to it and keep it in the #1 position in North American mountain biking organizations. Thank you.
Also not a lawyer, kind of the opposite of one. Thank you so much for considering me for the board of directors. Mountain biking isn't just a sport to me, it's really a lifestyle. And I also get the sacrifice that it takes to live on this end of the world, but that's why we get to live in the epicenter of mountain biking in the universe. Professionally, I have an MBA and I bring 25 years of marketing, communications, and leadership experience to this, including more than a decade of community impact at scale. My background spans strategic communications, public relations, media relations, and crisis management. What I uniquely understand is that it takes a lifetime to build a brand. It only takes a second to damage it. So that's where I bring a unique set of experience to help brands grow back and be the best that they can possibly be. Beyond my professional life, I'm deeply committed to community service. I used to be on the board of BC 211, and that really showed me where impact at scale can really make a difference and how that can leave lasting impacts on a community and on society. Outside of the office, I'm a devoted dad. I have a daughter, she's 12 years old, and I am an avid mountain biker on the North Shore, and I ride 3 to 4 times a week, night and day. When I pause on a trail and I stop and I look around, I really feel at home. We really are lucky to live where we live. My vision is really simple. I want to help the NSMBA grow its membership base and build and protect its reputation. I'm committed to strengthening this organization and ensuring every rider experiences the absolute best that the North Shore has to offer. So I thank you for your time, and I'd be honored if you'd vote for me.
Well, hello, my name is Igor, and I am honored to stand here as a candidate for the NSMBA Board of Directors. For many years, I have grown up here. I've been a big part of the mountain biking community here on the North Shore. I've ridden these trails, volunteered with them, and most importantly, I built connections with the people who make this community what it is. As one of the proprietors of the Lutet Jump Buddies, a nonprofit organization not too far away from here at the Lutet Bike Park, I know firsthand what it takes to not only grow something, but mature it into something not only beautiful, but lasting for everyone involved. I've dedicated countless hours in creating a safe and welcoming space for riders, especially the young ones, in building their skills, their courage, bravery, and just the love for the sport. My motivation is simple. I love mountain biking. It has changed my life. I would not be the same person I am without it. And I want to ensure that it continues to positively impact others within their life. What drives me is my dedication, the willingness to show up, to put in work, and keep pushing for the improvements, even without everybody watching, because that's when everything counts. Over the past year at Lutet, it meant everything from organizing events to trail days to volunteers and coordinating maintenance days and just shoveling dirt. It's taught me that real progress comes from consistency, patience, and most importantly, teamwork. I'm also fueled by passion for the sport, for our trails, and listen, moral of the story is I'm not doing this for a resume. I just love it and I want to do it better. So thank you.
I've been riding ashore for over 30 years and been a builder with the NSMBA for 12. I'm also a past board member as well for 6 years and worked as an employee as leading the NSMBA Trail Academy for a number of years. I am dedicated to representing the riding community and the building community. And I'm standing here tonight because I feel I'm running for this because I feel that there's a growing disconnect between the board of directors and the riding and building community. And I believe that I can help build that reconnection and rebuild trust. I have 5 years experience working as the operations manager for the Fraser Valley Mountain Bike Association, helping lead that organization through significant growth. I've also worked for Rec Sites and Trails BC, one of the land managers that we work with here on the shore and is prominent elsewhere in the province. I have a proven track record of getting features, new trails, authorized with land managers, working with land managers to get existing networks authorized, as well as bringing in the funds to pay for the folks that are doing that work. And again, I'm here to represent the riders and builders. Thank you.
The speaking notes are on the screen that is blank. Okay. Everybody, make sure you cast your votes if you haven't already. While we're waiting, I do want to thank every one of you who applied to be a board member this year. Like, obviously, there are only 5 slots, and there are many more of you up here up for election right now, and so not everybody is going to get elected. But what it does show me is that you guys are committed and you want to do more. So I will say that for those of you who don't get elected tonight, there are other ways that you can get involved, and I'm going to pitch the board committees as one of the best ways to get close to work with the board, get exposure, get to know everybody else on there, and basically build up a case for next year if that's the case, if you want to do that again. So I would love it if for those of you who don't get elected, like I will reach out after the AGM for those folks, and let's find a way to get you involved. Because thanks, this really matters. Like, you guys are stepping up to do something extra here, so I appreciate that. And I think that's it for now. Voting, and then we're on to Cynthia. She's going to talk about, give us a year in review and talk about a few things that we're looking forward to next year.
I think they get 10 minutes.
Okay, we're going to wait 10 minutes, make sure everybody has a chance to vote, and you can chit chat.
Okay, we've got one more minute and then we're gonna close the voting. Last chance. Yeah, there we go. Okay, take your seats again. We're gonna get started. You have to listen to me talk a little bit longer while we tally the votes. I'm gonna try to keep it brief. Okay, how much do we love this photograph? Yes, this is why I'm here. Look at the joy in this photograph and stop talking. This is the power of community. This is why the NSMBA exists. We support mountain biking trail building on the North Shore, and we harness the power of this incredible community to do it. Amazing things happen when we all work together. Am I right? Yeah. When I arrived in June, when I arrived in June, a lot of great work was already underway, and the NSMBA has achieved some really great things this year. We've put more than 11,000 volunteer hours into the Sanctioned Trail network across Cypress, Frome, and Seymour. Yeah, just for context, because you need context, right? 11,000 hours. So if one person works full-time, 52 weeks a year, not a single week off, for 40 hours a week, that's just over 2,000 hours. So 11,000 volunteer hours is a ridiculous amount of people power. And much of that has happened through trail days just like this. So we put on 130 trail days this year in 2025. Very cool, very cool. So before I tell you more about what we did in 2025, I need to introduce you to the fabulous people I work with, starting with the entire reason that this association exists, the trail builders. And specifically, Todd Digger-Fiander, the man who needs no introduction. Yeah, he's not here, but we can clap for him anyways. Yeah, and then the rest of the trail crew, Henry Fitzgerald, who is our trail director. Yeah. I want to also thank Skylar and Daniel, who did temporary contracts with us this year. They were amazing. We have such a strong group of folks working on the trails, and having a full-time paid trail crew year-round of this size and skill level is an exceptional achievement for a trail association. We are so proud of the work that these folks do and that they get done. And they deserve nothing but your wholehearted support. So make sure you and your friends buy a membership, make a donation, sponsor a trail, sponsor an event. All of that goes towards keeping this team going with the resources they need so that we can enjoy the work that they do. And our small but mighty admin team. So we are the folks that are mostly behind the scenes, managing the pieces that support the trail builders. We organize trail days and events, fundraising, apply for and report on grants, post on the socials, write newsletters, trail updates, update the website, keep a tight budget, work with our partners, and do the work to keep our advocacy efforts going strong across 3 mountains and 8 land managers. That's a lot. In addition to myself, we have Stephanie, our administrator extraordinaire, who we would all be lost without. And Garrett, who does all matters of communication for us. Everything with words and photos, that's Garrett. Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna keep this recap going from west to east. In 2025, Cypress really shone bright as the new mountain on the block. It formally added to our trail network in 2017. The happenings on Cypress this year brought a lot to our riding community. It was a proud moment for us to officially open the climbing trail at the beginning of September. This project was a proof of concept of what trail associations, land managers, and private supporters can accomplish together. And you can see that in this photo, all the groups that coordinated to bring this project to life over many, many years. Yeah, quiet in the back. But representatives from the Squamish Nation, volunteers, community advocates, NSMBA board members, employees and trail crew, many folks from the District of West Vancouver, including the mayor, and partners from British Properties. So we're showing you the number of hours of trail crew work completed this year as a tangible representation of the work that the association does and just how much work goes into the trail network that we all enjoy. But also know that for every hour of dirt work, rock work, bridge work, and anyways, I got it. Can you scroll?
No, there's no scroll.
Damn, okay. Just know that for every hour that goes into the trail crew work, they spend close to twice as much doing walkthroughs, trail assessments, work reports, and all the requirements that are necessary to care for trails in line with the requirements from our land managers. So back to the Adidas 510 day with short sirens that we saw at the beginning. And 14 other trail days like that, combined with the dedicated work of the volunteer crew on Cypress, contributed more than 1,200 volunteer hours to trails like Jersey Shore, Meat Sweats, Morgies, and Mystery DH. Our paid trail crew supported this work as well, helping to prep the network for both the climb trail opening and the youth DH race at the end of October, which was put on by Stereo Racing and had 22 racers ages 13 to 16 participate in the first ever legit downhill mountain bike race on Cypress since the 80s. Yeah. So please thank me in joining the Cypress builders. I know a bunch of you are here tonight. Can you stand up so we can appreciate you with our round of applause? Thank you. Woo! Special recognition goes to Wyatt and Jared, who have been working and learning alongside the OG Cypress crew, and they've recently graduated from the Builder Apprentice program. And an extra special mention to, wait for it, Cooper, Alan Bardsley, who continues to spearhead advocacy efforts and fundraising connections for us. Where is he? He's here, I know. Alan! And I don't believe he is here, but thank you also to Jeremy Powers from Rare Earth. He completed the machine build of the climb trail through a joint project with NSMBA, District of West End, and the British Properties. Yeah. So if you rode from this year, it'd be really hard not to notice all the dirt that got moved to keep the flow trails flowing. The trail crew completed a top to bottom refresh of espresso. Yeah, floppy and bobsled. The corners on Kirkford saw a full rebuild thanks to Trevor Hansen and the weekly Work Wednesday volunteers. The woodwork on Pipeline gets better and better all the time. And Brent Hillier continues to leverage free child labor to complete projects like the King of the Shore reroutes and other improvements on the Griffins and roadside. Brent led a total of 17 trail sessions this year, putting 750 hours worth of work, volunteerism, education, and youth stewardship into Lower Frome. So, thank you all again. This youth stewardship program that Brent runs, we would love to find some formal funding for it. So if you know any connections, please reach out to us for that. And then there are the events. And does Brent need to stand up? He's hard to miss. We also host a lot of events on Frome, and sometimes people wonder why all the events are on Frome, but they're just logistically easier to put on Frome because there's only one land manager instead of 5. But we are aiming to spread out the events next year, and we are planning on doing 2 5ers on Frome, 2 5ers on Seymour, and 2 5ers on locations yet to be confirmed. We're excited to be expanding to 6 events and offering more variety in the courses. Yeah. So Frome Builders, there's so many of you. Can you stand up and we can give you a round of applause? I also am personally very excited that there are 5 women on this list, which is so cool to see. Come on, Frome. None of the Frome Builders. Woo! Okay, last but not least, we've got Seymour. In 2025, for the first year, we were able to pay our trail crew through our agreement with the District of North Vancouver to work on the trails on Seymour. So with that, yeah, it's a huge milestone. It is great. With that, in addition to the gaming grant funds, we supported volunteer and paid builders to complete the Salvation rebuild, the Boogie Nights refresh, the Pingu new entrance, Dale's Corner improvements, Corkscrew blue line. So there's now a legitimate blue line all the way from the mushroom lot to the old Buck parking lot. And lots of Empress bypass work as well, which was partially funded through a grant from BC Parks. How great is this tech crew over here? Yeah, no, that's great. Next slide. Okay, so Seymour Builders, please stand up. Yes. Yes, thank you. Yeah. Very cool to see there's another 3 women on this list. I get excited that our women builder roster is growing. And a special mention to Sven and Dorothy Lutke, who have been working on Pangor for like decades, but we've lost them to the island now. But thanks to Sven and Dorothy. Okay. And thank you also to the volunteers who spent time to step up and be on committees this year. These committees, we have 3 that are open to people who aren't just board members. These committees meet like once a month, and they do all matter of things. Most of them are made up of 2 board members and then community volunteers. So if you're interested in contributing your time and skills without being a member of the board or a trail builder, please talk to us about this. This is a great way to get involved. Many of you have reached out to us this year to let us know just how passionate you are about our operations. So this is the space for you to get involved. The Trails for All committee shares knowledge with the board, staff, and members. It also applies for grants and advises the board on how to remove barriers and improve inclusion for trail users and volunteers. The Events and Volunteers Committee supports volunteerism and engagement and envisions future events for us. And the Trail Working Group is currently very focused on making progress with our trail strategy, as well as ways to improve relationships with land managers. So this committee also supported the development of the Builder Apprenticeship Program. Yeah. And now Raj is going to talk to us about the monies.
Wow, nobody's fired up. I'm sandwiched between two accountants in the front. Hi again, everybody. It's been a great year. It's been a great financial year. And before we get started, there was a very large amount of work that went in during the ED transition. Stephanie, Taylor, I want to give you a big shout out. Thank you so much. There was a ton of work that you did going way beyond, and you saved my ass more than a few times. So thank you. Bye, everybody. Before we get to the finance numbers at the bottom, really the screen, all we're going to talk about here is the cash position. The NSMBA is kind of turning into this machine, and our monthly burn rate is kind of around the 40K mark minimum at this point. So right now we're liquid with 227,000, and that gives us about half a year, a little bit more in terms of a burn rate. 4 months, so 45 months. But the good story there is that it's in line with previous years. We're trying to keep it steady. There's been a lot of efforts, a lot of concerted efforts to kind of reduce expenses and keep our cash on hand, but also manage our liquid capital so that it's not just sitting in the bank, but also working for us on the side. I'm going to go to the next slide. Yeah, as far as the income goes, so this was a very fluctuating year. We have quite a few sources of revenue, which we're going to jump to on the next slide afterwards. But with the main area that we focused on this year was trying to find savings in the expense category, trying to reduce the kind of trim the fat and refocus where the money's going to go for the years to come. As I said before, the most important part, going back to the cash slide, I don't actually have to go back to the cash slide, is making sure that we have money in the short term to pay the folks and get the work done, but also make sure that we're going to be financially stable in the years to come. Next slide. What a delicious pie. This fancy colored pie here, really all I want to show here or highlight here is where the money's coming from. And that big blue delicious slice at the bottom there is everybody in this room, that's memberships. So there's no organization without the memberships. And actually, as some of you folks know, we did a membership drive this year. And we had a Nolly bike donated to the organization, which was driven off through the membership drive to help increase revenue. In second place, we have the tap and sponsorship program, which is also the same folks that are typically members that are also in this room. And 13% this year came through donations. So really, all I'm trying to say here is that there's a lot of different sources of funding that the NSMBA relies on heavily. Nothing truly specific, but it's always going to be memberships at the end of the day. We have a large portion that's coming in through government agreements, agreements with municipal level, provincial level. We're sourcing federal levels now, and we've put a lot of efforts into grant applications this year because I guess in the past, maybe it was that big, it wasn't, but one of the goals of the finance committee, which Steve, Rashid, thank you very much for supporting Cynthia and myself on that committee, was to leverage the charitable status of the NSMBA and drive as much funding as we can for members that are important. Okay, and other than that, if anybody has any directed questions, I'd love to talk to you at the end of the day. Corner me, send me an email, and we'll have a chat.
Thank you, Raj. So looking ahead, looking back, looking ahead to 2026, we are refocusing our resources on trail work, volunteerism, and bringing the community together. So pick up a shovel or put down some cash, or preferably both. Next slide. So we are committed to improving the NSMBA's financial and organizational resilience. This means ensuring a break-even financial position in 2026, which includes a goal of getting to at least 4,000 members. This piece of our funding is key for supporting day-to-day operations, but also just a stable cash flow. And as Raj outlined, it's about a quarter of our total revenue, but membership is not just money, like it's solidarity, it's power in numbers. When we talk to land managers and sponsors and we tell them we have 4,000 members, they really listen, and it's impressive when they know that we're speaking for, we're the voice for that many people, and we're representing the priorities of that many people. So spread the word, we need members. Positive peer pressure is important. We're also refocusing on ensuring that we encourage volunteering and that we record all of those volunteer hours that go into Trail Network. So we're setting a goal of 15,000 volunteer hours. If you maybe remember from earlier, we hit 11,000 this year, but I think there's a lot of hours that went unrecorded. So focusing on that. And to get everyone stoked on the trails, we're going to be hosting 6 fantastic fivers. Stay tuned on these, as well as details on the other events that we're planning for 2026. Okay, this is a big part of our year coming up, and Mike and Henry are going to talk to you about the trail strategy.
Hey all, this is Mike. He's one of our NSMBA directors at large, and I'm Henry. I'm the trail director here, and we're members of the trail working group. Guided by NSMBA strategic plan under the responsible land use pillar, we've been focusing on developing our trail strategy this past year. Building stronger relationships, clear processes, and improved long-term planning across all 3 mountains. Our trails map across the lands of multiple nations and land managers, more so than many other communities that have a lot of mountain biking. This complexity requires a common language, consistent communication, and a unified approach for achieving new trails and coordinating robust and sustainable maintenance for the existing trails. Our goal is to provide a unified framework for planning, maintaining, and improving trails through partnership, stewardship, and in community insight. Thanks. Yeah, with community insights, the 2025 survey gave us a clear signal. Riders want more trails, more blue level options, and improved maintenance throughout the network. We also heard concerns about trust, communication, and advocacy. So responsible land use isn't just about building trails, it's about how we explain decisions and involve the community in them. On builder and land manager alignment, we've been working with builders across all mountains and with each land manager to identify where we've seen projects slow down. The trails cross multiple jurisdictions, so identifying approval bottlenecks and streaming these pathways is central to responsible land use. This is about making sure that good ideas don't stall because the process isn't clear.
So yeah, our early First Nations partnerships, this work also sits within our land use, responsible land use pillar. And we've initiated steps with the Tsleil-Waututh and Squamish Nations. And we're trying to collaborate with them, and we're going to base it on listening and sharing of knowledge. The relationships that we shape with them will help us plan, maintain, and communicate about how our trails on their unceded territories operate, and that they're a critical part of a modern and sustainable and responsible land use approach. And we've been working on building the network, the planning network for the next decade. This is going to guide us, and it includes trail difficulty mapping, maintenance planning, and long-range maintenance planning. And it's going to help us refine development tools and processes, some of which that are already in use in other trail networks across the province. We're also consolidating our trail data and inventories so that decisions that we make are based on they're grounded in clear and consistent information. That's the online link, so folks online can hear you. Got it, sorry. So lost my spot there. We are, see where we're at. We've been building a trail network planning framework that will guide us for the next decade, that includes trail difficulty mapping, long-range maintenance planning, and refining development tools and processes, some of which are already in use in trail communities across the province already. We're also consolidating our trail data and inventory so that the decisions that we make are grounded in clear and consistent information that all partners can trust, riders and builders included. Putting that all together, and this is work that creates the foundation for long-term trail development and maintenance with responsible land use. And at the end of the day, it's informed by the community and aligned with the land managers. And I'm going to go off script for a second here. Our staff and our volunteer builders that work day to day with our land managers, that relationship is really important to how we proceed. And so tip of the hat to them. Thank you.
All right. What have you all been waiting for?
You ready? You ready?
Yeah. All right. Ooh, some woos in the audience. Didn't expect some things. Congratulations. Some of you who can do math notice that there are 6 people on this list, and we had 5 open seats. So we had a tie for one of the positions. We had a tie. So we are allowed as an organization to have up to 12 board members. So we are going to accept 11 total board members instead of 10 that we planned, because we have a tie. Congratulations to the 6 of you. Thank you very much. I'm going to say it again. So those folks who didn't get elected, I'm going to talk to you and I'm going to hunt you down. I'm going to find a way to get you involved because I can tell you care, and I think you can add any one of you can add a significant value to the organization, and we're going to find a way to do that. So stay tuned for that. And if you have your own ideas, let me know those too. Happy to listen. Yeah, what's next?